but it's also about what is the culture of the environment. How are we approaching this issue in a way that we also understand we cannot support and help our young people if we also don't also look at the context in which those young people live and are being raised, which means necessarily, because our edict and our mission is not to come out and say, well, we could do this better. Part of the extension of the work you will do is, yes, focused on our young leaders and our young people, but understanding we also then have to be clear about the needs of their parents and their grandparents and their teachers and their communities. Because none of us just live in a silo. Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. So all of this is part of the work of this group of extraordinary leaders who will help inform and advise how we think about our work. And like the Secretary said, give us feedback, give us counsel, give us direction in how we best achieve our mission. But it's also about what is the culture of the environment. How are we approaching this issue in a way that we also understand we cannot support and help our young people if we also don't also look at the context in which those young people live and are being raised, which means necessarily, because our edict and our mission is not to come out and say, well, we could do this better. Part of the extension of the work you will do is, yes, focused on our young leaders and our young people, but understanding we also then have to be clear about the needs of their parents and their grandparents and their teachers and their communities. Because none of us just live in a silo. Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. So all of this is part of the work of this group of extraordinary leaders who will help inform and advise how we think about our work. And like the Secretary said, give us feedback, give us counsel, give us direction in how we best achieve our mission. Doing it in a way that we fully understand the challenges and the opportunities. And so with that, it is my great honor to swear you in as members of the President's Advisory Committee.
Well, it's now been 75 days since President Biden exited the presidential race and Vice President Kamala Harris stepped in. And still, she has yet to hold a single formal news conference. Now, a new report reveals that there's growing worry among Democrats that she's not doing enough to win this razor-tight election. NBC News out with this headline, Harris is playing it safe. Some Democrats worry that could doom her campaign. One Democrat says Harris's campaign is, quote, trying to keep her away, while another lawmaker claims that it's been a, quote, mistake to shield her and running mate Tim Walz from interviews. And Joe Biden's former press secretary describes Harris's approach as, quote, duck and cover. Kennedy, this is interesting.
Suggested that if Trump wins, he might let the Grand River Assembly plant in Lansing close down. The same plant that our administration helped save earlier this year, along with 650 union jobs. Michigan, we together fought hard for those jobs, and you deserve a president who won't put them at risk. And for anybody watching,
Google Project 2025. It is a detailed and dangerous blueprint for what he will do if he is elected president. Donald Trump will give billionaires and corporations massive tax cuts, attack unions, cut Social Security and Medicare, and impose a Trump sales tax of 20% tax on everyday basic necessities, which will cost the average family nearly $4,000 a year. And on top of all this, Donald Trump intends to end the Affordable Care Act. Even after he tried to repeal it time and time again when he was president, and still has no plan to replace it. You watched the debate. You watched the debate. You saw that. He said he, quote, has concepts of a plan. Concepts. Now, you know, I have said that I do believe he is an unserious man. And the consequences of him being president again are absolutely critically serious. Because think about it, even on health care, he has a concept of a plan, so he's going to threaten the health insurance of the 45 million people in our country based on a concept? To take us back, you remember that, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions? Remember what that was like? Well, Michigan, we are not going back. 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 No. Because we will move forward. Ours is a fight for the future. Ours is a fight for the future, and ours is a fight for freedom. Like the fundamental freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. From the election, it's important that we remind people how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would overturn Roe v. Wade, and they did. And now more than 1 in 3 women in America lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban. Many with no exceptions, even for rape and incest, which is immoral. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. And here's what I want to say. Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on other hard-won freedoms and rights, like the freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to join a union, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, and the freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water. Flint, you know all too well, Flint, that clean water should be a right for everyone, not just for the people who can afford it. clean water, but the opportunity to recover economically and thrive. So Michigan, it all comes down to this. We are all here together because we know what is at stake, and we love our country. We love Michigan. We love our country. We know it is one of the highest forms of patriotism to then fight for the ideals of our country and to fight to realize the promise of America. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. So, Election Day is in 32 days. And already nearly 2 million ballots are in the hands of Michigan voters alone. So if you have received your ballot, please do not wait. Fill it out and return it today. Early voting starts statewide on October 26th. And now is the time to make your plan to vote. Because, folks, the election is here. The election is here. And we need to energize, organize, and mobilize. And remember, your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. So, Flint, today I ask, are you ready to make your voices heard?
And what an outstanding cause to elect my friend, Kamala Harris, President of the United States. I'm here because I've known Kamala for over 20 years. Cookie and I supported her run for Attorney General back in the state of California, her run for Senator, and now we support her as the VP, but now the biggest moment for all of us November the 5th, we have to do all we can to elect Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States. She wants to build up the middle class, and I know something about the middle class because I come from a middle class family. My father worked 30 years for Fisher Body. When I turned pro, I thought that was going to be the greatest moment in my father's life. But it wasn't. The greatest moment in his life came when he finally owned his own home. What does Kamala Harris want to do as president? Put millions of Americans in their own home. Give them $25,000 to start them off to be homeowners. That's very important. Then she wants to also have more small business owners. And she's going to help them out by giving them $50,000 for startup new small business owners, tax deduction. She's smart, she's strong, she's passionate. Nobody's gonna outwork her. She's committed to you, the people of the United States, the people of Michigan. She's committed to you. She's going to be a president for everybody. And the one thing she's going to do is finally unite us, bring us together.
Yeah, I got you.
That other party is trying to tear us down.
Hold up.
And I got to say this because I'm back home.
You at church?
First of all, let me congratulate your Tigers. I grew up a Tiger fan. So I'm hoping that your Tigers beat my Dodgers for the World Series, okay? But we have 32 days. That sound familiar? Somebody wore number 32. You know who that is, right? Until November 5th. Now,
how many people you got in there?
we can't take anything for granted. You've been working hard, but we need to work harder. We got to call people. We got to knock on doors after and before church. Not during church, but after and before church. We got to rally people, talk to them. Now, there's a lot of black men in here, and I don't mean to, not talk to other people, but this is important. Our black men, we got to get them out to vote. That's number one.
I am crying.
Kamala's opponent promised a lot of things last time to the black community that he did not deliver on. And we got to make sure we help black men understand that. So that's why I'm here, to make sure I help black men understand. First, get out and vote, and then vote for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris. She's for women's rights
I hear him.
make their own decision with their body. We gotta
you today, I want to talk about an issue that is top of mind for Michiganders everywhere in every election. Jobs, jobs, and right. Every one of us wants and deserves a job that will help us pay the bills, put food on the table, and help us get a secure retirement. The promise of a path to prosperity drew hundreds of thousands of people from all around the world to places like Flint, Michigan. I love you too. In its heyday, Flint, Michigan was the second biggest city in our state, with 80,000 union auto workers. Over decades, though, we know that Flint was left behind. And when Donald Trump ran for office, he said a lot of things. He said he would save all the jobs and bring back American manufacturing. But Donald Trump was all talk. As president, Trump oversaw an American manufacturing recession. By the time he left office, Michigan had lost more than 280,000 jobs. Now, maybe to a guy like Trump, he doesn't understand. 280,000 jobs lost is 280,000 households that struggle to get by. Donald Trump's record on auto jobs, on manufacturing, and on putting American workers first is failure, failure, failure. He said not one auto plant would close. The truth, 5 closed. He said he'd support unions. The truth, he made it harder to bargain for better pay and benefits. This guy, who claims to be a friend of workers, even suggested that manufacturing move out of Michigan and to anti-union states in the South. If he is given a second term, he will enact huge tariffs. He will enact, essentially, we're not going back. That's right. We're not going back. Donald Trump's tariffs are essentially the same as a tax, a national sales tax, that will cost every one of you thousands of dollars a year. And just this week, his running mate, J.D. Vance, that guy from Ohio, J.D. Vance said they do not support $500 million federal investment to upgrade our auto plants. You cannot tell me you care about the people of Michigan if you're going to undermine the core of our economy in Michigan. So it's pretty simple. When you have a chance to save hundreds of good-paying Michigan auto jobs and create more, you take it. Instead, the Trump-Vance ticket is giving the middle finger to workers here in Michigan. It was the Biden-Harris administration that took action to save union jobs.
Trump must think that Michiganders aren't very smart. Well, boy, do we have news for him, right? Because you can't go to Texas and love Elon Musk's EVs and then come here and denigrate EVs and the jobs that come along